So we're going to be talking about Daniel Donoghue and what he was involved with during the First World War. He was a professional soldier since the age of 18 and stationed overseas at various places. Daniel's regiment was called the Royal Munster Fusiliers, and when war was declared on August 4th, 1914, his regiment was one of the first to land in France. The famous battle for Daniel's regiment, was called the Battle of Étreux. So on the 27th of August, the Royal Munster Fusiliers were tasked to provide a rearguard action to allow the main force to get some distance between them and the advancing Germans. And it was a day-long battle that began in the morning, and it traversed through several small villages in the French countryside, and it culminated in the village of Étreux. Much of the battalion was doing hit-and-run actions and retreating, so they were overrun and outflanked essentially, and by 9 or so in the evening, they had basically run out of ammunition, and those that were not killed or wounded had to basically surrender to the Germans. The bulk of the battalion was either killed, wounded, or taken prisoner on that day, Daniel being one of the soldiers that was taken prisoner. And Daniel spent the next 4 years and 112 days in a prisoner of war camp. Unfortunately, a lot of the prisoners were left to sleep outside. There was not enough food, and Daniel was, his military records show that he was repatriated from Germany on the 17th of December 1918. He went back to London. After the war ended, he found my grandmother, Mary, and they were married in the spring of 1919. So they didn't waste much time trying to get back to their life back to normal. And my father was born in 1921. My dad's brother was born in 25. My father and my Uncle Dave became orphans when their mother died, and Daniel ended up dying in 1929. The death record shows it was a pulmonary illness, probably tuberculosis. So after surviving all of that, what he went through in the First World War, he, unfortunately died, leaving his 2 sons orphaned, and my dad and uncle went to an orphanage in the English countryside. My father and my Uncle Dave began their adult careers at 14 years old. My dad starting to work in a factory. So when the Second World War arrived, they were still teenagers, late teens. Dave he joined an Irish regiment as well called the Irish Guards, and he landed in Normandy at D-Day +14. Yeah, he survived the war. He was a tank driver, believe it or not, and his regiment figured prominently in the movie called A Bridge Too Far, where Michael Caine played David's colonel, Colonel Vanderloo.